on the road today in Vancouver, Canada, with the CEO and founder, YESA Academy?
YESA Academy.
YESA and Grant Cardone, Canada. Corrie
Yes,
Elieff.
What's going on,
What's
Johnny?
up, man?
What up, cuz?
That's my cousin. Shh. Took a ride in his Hellcat last night.
You drove the Hellcat last night.
I whipped that thing. It's so strong behind there.
Yeah, I know,
like,
man.
Oh my God, I felt so powerful.
And it's funny because I was gonna get you to like use it in 500 horsepower mode, but then when that guy kind of challenged us, I was like, just put it in 700 and show this guy what it's like. It was a Golf R. It's like, dude, really? I mean, a Golf R is a quick little car. It's like a 13-second car, but
he was really testing me.
Yeah, but then we put bus lengths on him. Give him the head start. You just drive by him like he's not moving.
Honestly. So we're in his office today.
Yeah.
In Grant Cardone, Canada, right?
Yeah, make sure we show him some pictures.
Yeah. We'll get the pics.
Yeah.
The B film. Tell me what that means.
The office is the B-roll.
The B-roll.
You didn't know what B-roll was before? You film podcasts, don't know what B-roll is?
Shh, let me live, man.
Nice.
Let me
Dude,
live.
aren't you from California? Isn't everybody in film over there?
I mean, I am in film, actually.
Aren't you from Hollywood? Seriously?
So yeah, man, great view here.
Yeah, man,
great spot. Port Moody, right? That's where we're at.
Yeah, we're in Port Moody. So this is the furthest the inlet the ocean comes, and then it stops here. Yeah.
And you built this from ground up, man. I remember seeing Snapchats of you in like your apartment, like starting this business.
Yeah,
like.
Dude. So we started this business on my condo, 2017, and me and 5 guys literally started making cold calls out of my condo. Jesus. Folding plastic tables, folding plastic chairs that we bought at Walmart, like those $10 folding plastic chairs that the like legs always break on.
No, I remember that.
Yeah.
You guys had like the whiteboards and you would like
we painted,
track
which was the stupidest thing, because we painted whiteboards on the wall. Whiteboard paint. We should have just hung whiteboards, because when I sold that condo, I flipped that property. Mm-hmm. I had to like paint over them, but painting over a whiteboard wall is not easy. Like it took like 10 coats of paint to cover them up. So that was stupid. But yeah, so we started it out of my condo, 2017. Me and 5 guys, we all left our cozy positions in the corporate world, and we're like, you know what, let's go for this thing.
Dang.
And now we're here. Now this
what sparked that?
Well, I'm big on, like taking, like building my life in steps, like a staircase. Mm-hmm. So I had been a sales guy, then I had been like a sales manager, then I had been like a turnaround guy. Like this other company out east used to hire me to go in and like turn around their broken locations. Like their sales would be going down, and I would go in and like kick everybody's ass and get them performing again. So I did that. Then I was an intrapreneur. So means like you're building a business within a company.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yeah, intrapreneur. Yeah,
yeah.
It's basically you're an entrepreneur, but you're a pussy. You're afraid to take the risk yourself, so you're using someone else's dollar. But it's a perfect step for me, because I made okay money. I was making a couple $100,000, but you basically build a business for someone else, and then if you screw up, like you're not out anything.
Yeah.
Like you're an employee still, right? And then you're getting some profit sharing or whatever. So
right. I love how you say I'm making okay money, a couple $100,000.
Yeah,
most people like my age,
when you build a business, like that business was in its 3rd year was a $20 million business. Mm-hmm. So when the company has a hard time giving you, paying you your $250,000, which is what the agreement was when we started, mm-hmm. and there's some funny business going on, you're like, all right, I'm out. So that's actually why I left. There was a few things. I was going to stay another year and then make my transition. But corporate world's funny, man. Like a young guy comes in, we build this business. I start out earning the vice presidents there, and they look at it like, we can't have this like 25-year-old kid, 26-year-old kid out earning our vice presidents. So they like try and mess with your income,
Right.
So
they don't want to give
not my division leaders though. My division leaders were sick. Like they were pretty cool,
mm-hmm.
but they're just like the corporate thing was just bullshit. So I ended up, as soon as I got my last profit share payout, I like went and bought a condo real quick, just because like getting a mortgage when you don't have a job, when you're self-employed, is like nearly impossible.
Right.
So I bought a condo. As soon as I got the keys, I quit. Yeah. Yeah.
Super smart move.
And then, don't tell the bank, How long have you been with this company? 4 years.
Yeah. And then so how long from that, transitioning from the corporate world, did you start?
I took off a month, went to Jamaica, went to Aruba.
Just to clear your head.
Chilled. Yeah, did some personal development. And then we started the business, and I flew down to meet with Grant in March. And then we got the contract. And then I flew back up here beginning of April, and we started the business April 18th, which was my birthday.
So how'd you get hooked up with Grant? Because he's a big-ass name.
Yeah, dude. Well, like, we could dial it back if you want. But So I started my career in door-to-door sales. So
Yeah.
I dropped out of school when I was 19, and I started knocking on doors. Right? You know that I'm like an advocate that like you should drop out of school. That's why some parents hate me because it's against their belief systems. But I started knocking doors when I was 19. But I was an idiot. I started knocking doors when I was 11.
11?
Yeah, because my dad was huge on mini bikes and dirt bikes, and I wanted to get a mini bike. He's like, well, you're gonna pay for it, you know. So he's like, go knock some doors. So I started knocking doors when I was 11 years old, shoveling driveways. Yeah. And then when I was 12, I started, or 12 or 13, definitely underage for cutting grass. I started knocking doors to cut grass. So I started knocking doors then. Then I professionally started knocking doors like competitively when I was 18. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 18, 19.
Just from what you've kind of told me about it, that's a sport almost. Like that, it's
Dude,
got that competitive
people
spirit.
Have no idea. There's a huge underground. I used to compete nationally in door-to-door sales competitions.
Did you really?
You get dropped off at 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning, and you get dropped off, and they give you like this is before your phones. Mm-hmm. Well, before your phones had a good map on them, like back in like 2011, 2012.
Yeah, it was like,
and it would give you a little map of like your neighborhood. And they'd be like, this is the area. They would highlight in a certain color, like this is Corey's neighborhood. No one's allowed to knock in that area. So that's your arena for the day, right? And then they would drop off 60 other people in their own little area, and then they'd be like, go. And everybody would start knocking, and you would start selling stuff. And then at the end of the day, everybody would get picked up, get driven back to the office, and then they would announce the winners of the day. And I did that. And you would get back to the warehouse at like 10 o'clock at night.
They drop you off at 9 a.m.
Well, you'd be at this warehouse first at 8 a.m., right? And we would do a meeting. Like I ran those offices as well. Mm-hmm. Funny enough, I ran the offices before I door knocked for that business. So I was a manager first, and then I went to being a sales rep.
Why'd you do that?
Because the sales reps made way more money. So I did the management thing for a year. I lived in the warehouse too. Like I took this company offered me a job. So even before that, if I could paint some context as to why I put myself through this, but I lived in the warehouse for 8 months. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a house. I literally lived in a shop warehouse, 3 bay doors, lived on a wood floor with an air mattress.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, but the reason I put myself through that was like my drug rehab.
Really?
So in my late teens, I got into drugs, mm-hmm. Like I dropped out of college and then I was going to start knocking doors, but then I just got in with the wrong crowd and started smoking a lot of weed and drinking. And then I got into like some harder drugs, like some nose candy and some MDMA. Yeah. And I just remember first it was like, oh, it's not a problem. Yeah. And this is how it starts, Johnny. That's why I'm so against drugs. Like drugs are for weak-minded people. I hope I piss some fucking people off with that. Drugs are for weak-minded people. Seriously, if you need to have drugs to like have a good time, you're weak. Yeah. So, but I got into smoking weed, and then I'm doing these drugs. I'm like, oh, like I'm only doing the drugs on Saturdays, and then it's then Friday, Saturday, and then it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then it was maybe Sunday. Yeah. And then
you do that every weekend?
I did it pretty much every weekend for a year straight. Not one of the two. Either MDMA or cocaine. Got it. So that was an issue for me. And I was just in with the wrong crowd, man. Like I almost got my car taken away. Like I almost got a DUI, but I didn't. Like luckily I was a really good talker, and like I literally talked my way out of that one. And, but yeah, that was a bad situation. I was getting in fights. Like I broke my hand like twice in a year. Like I was just doing stupid shit, man. That's when I was bodybuilding too.
I remember that. You were Jack show.
Yeah. And,
I'll embed one of those pictures of you.
Yeah, definitely. So I was working out and I was eating super healthy, but I was doing drugs. Like, And I literally one weekend I literally fried my brain too. Like I had all of New Year's. I was out at Christmas, just before Christmas, and I had all of New Year's supply in my pocket. So I was the guy everybody could trust. Yeah. Right. So like I had all of New Year. And you can't trust me tonight. I ended up taking everybody's New Year's supply that night myself.
Oh, you took it yourself?
Yeah. And then I wasn't the same for years after that.
Really?
Like my short-term memory was fried. Like I remember that's how I screwed up. So I used to work for our cousin, obviously. Yeah. And I screwed that job up so bad. It's because I fried my brain, dude. I could go to work and I couldn't focus for like more than 10 seconds.
Right.
Yeah. Like I remember the week after I took like 2 or 3 grams. I don't know what it was of M. which is like a lethal dose.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
you're playing with fire.
Yeah, I know.
Holy shit.
So like, and I literally went to work the next week, and I had to take these order forms and enter them into a database. And I remember like looking at the order form, like, all right, 5-foot fence, 47 pieces. And I would like click the little cell that I had to fill the data into, and I'd be like, all right, 5-foot fence, how many pieces? 47. Okay, so 5-foot fence. How many pieces? 47. Okay. 5-foot fence, 47 pieces. 5-foot fence. And I'd start crying.
So
I just started crying. I just started, emotionally messed up. Then I just started crying because I realized I couldn't keep anything in my brain. Like I couldn't keep, like I was done.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to rebuild that. I started taking like maca and friggin' green supplements and like anything for neurotransmitter activity, like L-theanine. And I'm like on like, just like how do I heal this? Like type it in, like how do you heal a drug hangover?
Yeah.
And it was just,
Wait, so was that the moment for you where you're like,
no.
No,
because now I'm dumb as shit. So now I'm just going to keep doing dumb shit. Yeah. I went on for a year after that.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then the moment for me was literally a year later, December 2010. My buddy calls me on a Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yo, I got some good shit. And he sounds like he's on drugs, right? And I'm like so grateful for that phone call because all I hear in my head is, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, dude. Like, this dude's calling me on a Wednesday. Like, this is a problem, man. This guy's calling me on a Wednesday to get, like, not to smoke a joint.
Right.
To do some hard shit, you know? And that's when I was like, I'm getting out of here. And literally 3 weeks later, I was on an airplane, and I flew from Toronto to Vancouver, which is like New York to LA.
Right.
And I ditched all my friends. I quit cold turkey. I didn't need to go to a meeting and, be like, I'm helpless over to this addiction. Like, no, I'm not helpless
just
over
because you were around. Like,
I was just around losers, man. Like guys that were going nowhere. And I was a loser, so I can't really be critical of them. I got to accept responsibility. Like I did that. So anyway, now I got this fried friggin' noggin. My brain's not working very well. I'm jacked. I'm such a meathead at this point, not the sharpest tool in the shed. And I take this job offer for this guy who I had door knocked for when I was 18. And he's like, hey, like and I sent him my bodybuilding photos. I'm like, look what I'm doing with my life. Little does he know I'm like a friggin' drug addict. Yeah. And he's like, oh, yo, Elieff, you got to go to Vancouver. It's going to be amazing. We're going to pay for your accommodations. You're going to run a great location. You're going to make 60 to 80 grand in 8 months. And I'm like 20 at this point, right?
Yeah, that's just music.
So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, dude, I'll do that. So I fly out here, and there's no accommodations. It was a fib. There's a Motel 6.
Jesus.
And with 3 guys. So it's me and 2 other dudes. In one room. And we're in East Van.
Which is bad,
sorry, I think it was like
area?
a Sun Inn.
Is that a bad
Sun Inn or a Days Inn. It was a Days Inn.
There we go.
We completely abused the continental breakfast. Completely abused it. We'd like pack our pockets with friggin' muffins. I had no money in my bank account either. And you didn't get paid for the first 2 months. The whole thing was you're going to go out there, you're going to build this business. And then when the business starts, you're going to get paid a percentage of the sales. I'm like, all right. So I come out here. It's a Days Inn. So now, and I'm 20 years old. First time really living away from home.
Right.
I'm going through drug withdrawal. And what we had to do is we had to recruit this door-to-door business. So the way door-to-door works, door-to-door companies are like recruitment engines. So they recruit like 50 guys, and then like 40 of them quit. And then they recruit another 50, and then like 40 of them quit. And they just keep doing that over and over and over, and it just burns people out.
It's so taxing.
It's a crazy job, right? It's like literally like the military, like recruit the Marines, and they all just get shot, and then they're bringing some more. You know what I mean? So... and then the cream rises to the top. So like the top guys are all making, you're making good money. But I'm running the office at this point. So what we had to do when we got here, flew out to Vancouver, was like go and recruit people. First thing we had to do is go, would you like to make $500 a day? Pull this tab, call this number. So we went and taped those flyers on every intersection in the lower mainland of British Columbia.
Jesus.
So we would do that from, and you're living in a motel. We would wake up at 11:30 at night. Wake up at 11:30 at night. Okay, go get some Wendy's. Okay, every day. And now, so think about how much change my body's going through.
Yeah.
Because I'm going from eating protein shakes, greens shakes,
Eating clean as fuck,
eating like bodybuilder diet, but like clean bodybuilder diet. So I was eating like spinach, and I was living at my aunt's place who was Italian, so she always cooked me amazing food, right? So I'm going from that to fast food, and I'm going from drugs to no drugs. So I have 2 withdrawals going. I have like all the healthy food. Now I'm not eating it.
Yeah.
And I'm going through a drug withdrawal.
Your body's fucked.
My body's fucked, right? And my brain's messed up. And everyone realizes too, like, man, we thought Corey was sharp because I was a good sales guy. I could sell myself for like a couple minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
Always.
Right? Always. Always. I could always make an amazing impression for like fucking an hour. And then you're like, dude, what's up with this dude? Something's not right with this guy's head, you know? So, but yeah, we'd wake up at 11:30. So this is our schedule. So I landed in Vancouver and they're like, all right, here's the routine. 11:30 at night, you wake up. You go get some food. At midnight, you start flyering poles. So me and my buddy Corey Wadden, we broke that there were 6 guys on this trip.
I remember him.
Yeah. Check out Corey Wadden. Follow Corey Wayne Wadden. The guy's an actor now. He's a badass dude. So 2 guys would go out in each car, and one guy would prep the flyers with tape. So he put tape on the back of these flyers, and then we pull up to an intersection because it's midnight. There's nobody around. Both hop out of the cars, do your 2 poles, run back to the car, go to the next intersection. We would do that from 11 in the morning until 6 in the morning. At 6 in the morning, we would then drive to all the train stations and all the bus stops near all the universities. And we had these little business cards that said make $100 to $500 a day, apply online. Here's the URL, right? And then what we would do is we'd go to the train stations, and you have all these university kids, because this is January. They're all going to start looking for jobs now for when does university end? April?
Yeah.
That's when exams are? Yeah.
May.
So we wanted to start in January recruiting, right? So then you would go and you would meet people at the bus station. That took confront. You've been up since 11 at night. You just flyered poles all night. And now, like, you have to go walk up to university students who are the cockiest little pricks there are, right? Like, they think they're the shit. It's like, dude, you're not the shit. You're a university student, but whatever. So you got to walk up to them and basically say, hey, how you doing, man? Good. Are you looking for a summer position? Most of them tell you to piss off.
Right.
But then you had to get really good at opening people.
Right.
You get good at opening. So think of the kind of experience that I got. Like, I'm 20 years old, and I had to literally open probably 100 people a day on a job opportunity.
So what's a good opening that you would get?
Oh man, I anything, dude. Just like walk up to something and be like, yo, man, like, dude, that's like, for you, it'd be like, yeah, I like that Michael Jackson badge, man. Dude, oh, thanks, dude. Dude, you look well put together, man. What do you do? I'm a student. Okay, great. Do you also work? No, dude, like, I'm a director like, dude, I'm living in a fucking motel, guy, right? I'm like, yo, I'm a director for this sales business. We're expanding our business. We have more work than we know what to do with. We'd love to have you on our team. Here's a card.
Yeah.
And they're like, more work than you know what to do with. That sounds like you guys are doing good. Meanwhile, I have no money and I'm living in a motel, right? So that kind of stuff, and you just do it over and over and over again.
A little slimy doing that, or were you?
Sure, you did.
Yeah,
he's faking it till you making it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I hate the whole fake. Network marketers do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it, bro. Fake it till you'll make it. So I did that, and then so we would do that from 9 until 8:30, and then all the buses, pretty much the train stations would become a lot less congested.
Wait, 9 until 8:30.
Sorry, 6 in the morning until 8:30.
Okay, in the morning.
Right. So now you've been up. So you've been up since you've just been flowering poles since 11:30, and then you went and started handing out cards from 6 to 8:30. Then we come back to the hotel at 9, abuse the continental breakfast, shove all of our food in there, right, and then from 10 o'clock in the morning until 2:30, we would go knock on businesses' doors. And we would go do business to business. We would be signing, because basically we would be selling. One of the things we were selling door to door was this discount card. So you remember like Groupon?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I still use Groupon.
Yeah. Okay. Oh really? Is it still a thing?
Hell yeah.
Dude, I don't use coupons. Are for peasants. No, I'm just fucking with you, man. I'm just fucking with you, dude. I'm just kidding, Doug. I'm just kidding, man. It's that hashtag student life, Groupon.
Yeah.
But basically we had this like imitation Groupon where it was like a card that you could go to all these local businesses, and if you showed them this card, you could get a discount, right? So somebody had to set up all those relationships. So that was us. So we would go knock on these businesses' doors, we'd go, like, imagine a street in Manhattan Beach, like Manhattan Beach Pier, like all those, like Manhattan Beach Pizzeria and that sunglass shop and what else is there? The Strand and like all those places. So we would knock on everything from restaurants to gyms to supplement stores, and we would convince them to be like, hey, I work with a marketing company. We would love to advertise your business on our website and advertise your business door to door. All you have to do is like give our card holders a discount. It doesn't cost you any money.
Yeah.
So we had to do that. And then at 2:30, we'd go back to the hotel. Probably get back to hotel around 3:30, depending on what part of the city you were in. And then we would go to bed from 6:30, we go to bed around 3:30, 4 o'clock and wake up at 11 and do it all over again.
Oh my God, it's so taxing.
Yeah,
dude.
every day, 7 days a week
But
for the first 2 months.
The amount of people you're communicating with
It's
like
crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
That must help you so much.
So like think about it, right? Like if you look at
base.
we look at sales, like I look at it like verbal judo. Like it's a martial art.
Verbal jujitsu.
Yeah, that's actually a book too. It's not
Is it really?
Not that good of a book, but it's a well titled book, right? Like you're a linguistic artist,
Yeah.
So you learn things about vocal patterns, you learn things about tonality, you learn things about tone level, like where the person is on the emotional scale and how they'll respond to you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody hits you with antagonism. Someone's antagonistic, like you walk into their business or you knock on their door and they're like, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
Most salespeople who are dog shit will try and be happy with that person. And that's how you piss somebody off, right? So somebody knocks on your door and you're like, "What do you want?" And they're like, "Oh, hi, sir. Like I'm working with such and such a company." And you're like, "Fuck off."
How do you handle that?
You close the door. You hit them with boredom. So like if they're antagonistic, one tone level above antagonism is boredom.
Mm-hmm.
So like think about it, right? If somebody's waiting in line, they're bored. Do you ever notice that they could either become antagonistic or they could become content? Because above boredom, being bored, like, "Yeah, I'm bored. Yeah, sorry."
Yeah.
And above boredom is like content. Like, "Yeah, things are pretty good." That's like right above boredom, right?
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
next logical step. So if you look at people in line and they're bored, they either get antagonistic. Don't confront me.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? It's like, dude, like we're all going to the same place. Chill out,
Yeah.
right? Or they can be content. Like they look around, like, "Oh, like that's a nice picture."
Yeah.
So you learn how people behave based on what emotion they're in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you knock on somebody's door and they're antagonistic, like, what do you want? What can I do for you? You just hit them with boredom. "Oh, you know what, sir? Obviously I caught you in the middle of something, man. I don't want anything. But you know what? I interrupted you. You weren't expecting me to knock on your door. So why don't we do this? What's your name?" Johnny. "I'll come back on a better time. It's important, but it's not urgent. We're just we're hooking up the new fiber optic network to this neighborhood, and I figured out you would probably want to know about it. But listen, man, I interrupted you. And then what happens is you're being bored, and this guy comes up to interest.
Yeah.
So he literally goes from being antagonistic. "Well, oh, hold on. What's this all about?"
Yeah.
And now I got you, motherfucker.
And like, for just you saying that, I kind of feel bad too. I'm like, damn, I was like such a dick right when he came
yeah,
out.
because what happens is people want to feel at cause. So if they hit you with antagonism and they see that you're super happy and that their action had no effect on you, they elevate, they turn it up even more.
Right. Damn.
Right. Yeah. So if
Definitely.
if they hit you with if you knock on the door, you're happy, and then they hit you with antagonism, and you come down to boredom and meet them in between the emotional sandwich, if you will. You were up here, they were down here, and you meet them in the middle.
Yeah.
They feel like they're in control of the situation.
Right.
Because they feel like,
that's what it is.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm just like, well, you're not. I'm actually in control, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then so this is the kind of shit you learn, right?
Right.
And this is how you make money.
And then how do you learn? Is this through experience, or do you do a lot
Experience,
of studying
books.
Man, I
Yeah,
know you
dude, I
read
did
a
a
lot,
ton
but-
of studying, dude. Books, workshops, training courses. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on that stuff. Like I'm very educated. I'm just not formalized schooled.
Right.
So anyway, so that was door to door, and then I built that business, and then the owner of the company came out. We're living in this motel, right?
Days
And
in,
he's
baby.
like, and then he's like, "All right, we're ready to start the business. We need to go lease a warehouse." So we're gonna go lease this warehouse, and it's 3 bay doors, and there's a little office in there, and we'll park all the equipment in there. This was door to door property maintenance services.
Mm-hmm.
So you would knock on a door, and then you would aerate somebody's lawn, or wash their windows, or spray their driveway with tar. Like those were the services that we offered. So we move into this. We're going to go to this warehouse, and then the owner's like, "All right, so we can rent you a house," which was what he fucking promised us when we moved across the country.
Yeah.
Or if you guys like sleep. He's a sales guy, right? Get agreement first.
Right.
Always gets agreement first. Yeah, of course we love sleep. Well, you guys want to sleep more, right? Yeah, we would love to sleep more. Like we're only sleeping 6 hours a night right now.
Yeah.
He's like, great. You guys want to sleep more? Just move into the shop. Just move into the shop. You'll get way more sleep, dude. Because then you don't have to like wake up, drive from a house to work, and then it didn't matter though. Like
Right.
so, we take the offer. We move into the warehouse. 6 of us.
Oh, he played you.
Sell or be sold, dude. Sell or be sold, man. That's
Yeah,
really what it was.
I love
right?
that.
It says it on the wall over there, right? Sell or be sold. So we end up moving into this warehouse. And basically for the next 8 months, it was wake up in the morning at 6, go get your van. I had a 10-passenger van. Drive to the nearest university to pick up all of the students that couldn't drive. They needed a shuttle ride to work. So the first shuttle pickup was 7 a.m. and stop at basically bus stops all along the way to pick up all your workers, fill your van with 10 people, get back to the warehouse. There was a bunch of chairs and a projector. Give a motivational meeting. There's 60 people in there. You're now giving a meeting at 8 o'clock. You're living in this warehouse. None of them know that. You're giving a motivational meeting about how you need to take your life to the next level and you need to be better and sales is life, and you're giving all these motivational speeches.
And you're living in there.
And you're living in the warehouse. And then you would, at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending on how far away we had to drive, we would pack up the vans and with a trailer, 25-foot trailer full of equipment, plus you have 10 people in your van, and you drive them out to their neighborhoods, and you're coaching them while you're driving.
Yeah.
It's incredibly dangerous. That's probably why that company has a record amount of accidents, right?
Yeah.
And then you drop them off on the neighborhood one by one, and then you drive through them all day and coach them. Make sure they're not stealing from you. Make sure if they're on zero, you get out, knock a door with them, and get them to perform, like help them make a sale.
Yeah.
And you do that all day until 9 o'clock at night. Pick them all up, drive them back to the warehouse, pay them all out that night because they're contractors, and then drive them all home. So you drop off the last guy at like 11 o'clock at night, then you drive back to the shop, back at the shop like 11:30, 12 o'clock, go to sleep, do it all over again. No days off, zero. But remember, like, why would you put yourself through that, Corey? Well, first of all, you think you're going to make 60 to 80 grand in 8 months, and you're 20, and it's cash. You're getting paid cash, and you think you can cheat taxes at this point. I had to clean as soon as I joined the corporate world. This mentor of mine is like, you need to clean up the last 3 years of your tax history. Like, there's no way. Yeah.
So how'd you do that?
Well, you go refile.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So you're making cash, and you're like a 20-year-old kid, and you think you're going to be making like, 60, 80 grand in 8 months. Like that's like
great money,
$6 to $9,000 a month. You're like, damn, you think you're killing it, right?
Yeah.
So the business ends up collapsing about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through. Like everyone just fucking burns out.
Yeah.
And so the business's income goes from, my daily income goes from making like $300 a day to like making $50 a day. And you're eating restaurant food every day, so you're already spending like $40 a day. So you're not making any money.
Yeah.
And then the other aspect was, like everybody had nervous breakdowns. Like everybody did. And remember, like, you're like, why would you put yourself through this? This was my drug rehab. Like, I had just worked for my family. I just worked for my cousin, Mark, right?
Yeah.
Fucked that up. So now my whole family thinks that I'm a royal fuck up.
Right.
So I got this like mechanism in my head, like, oh, I'll show everybody how hard I can work, And then also, like, what am I going to do? Go home? Like, hop on an airplane and put my tail between my legs and fly back to Toronto and like go hang out with all my druggy friends again? Like,
your back was against the wall.
My back's against the wall, right? So I just went through it. So when the business collapsed in July, it was supposed to go until September. I hopped on an airplane, flew down to California, hung out with my uncle, my cousin, Johnny.
Dude, I remember when you came down, you were like a zombie.
You were
fried. So burnt out.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't.
Yeah.
It was crazy. My dad was like, "What are you doing?" Like, don't go back. Well,
and I didn't have it. So, and just in that time, I haven't touched any hard drugs since December 31st, 2010.
Yeah.
So,
good for you, man.
Yeah. And then from that point forward, from January until July, not only had I not done hard drugs, I hadn't smoked weed, I hadn't touched a sip of alcohol. Just quit everything cold turkey.
Yeah.
I also quit working out. So I was getting endorphins. I was getting no drugs.
Yeah.
Like nothing good. Yeah. So January was hard, dude. January. Yeah, January was hard.
Yeah.
July was hard because the business collapsed. Now I'm not making money, and I've already banked $35,000, and there's only 2 months left, and now there's no income coming in.
Right.
So I'm just over half of what I expected.
Yeah. What you were
right.
promised.
Luckily, I had banked like $11,000 at this point, and like for a 20-year-old, I'm like, that's all the money in the world,
Yeah.
So then I left that, and then I went and did the Buddhist meditation retreat, chilled in the desert, cooled my mind off.
The Vipassana, right?
Yeah, 10 days of silence in Joshua Tree, or 29 palms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I did that, and that cooled me right off.
Mm-hmm.
That was sick. And then I went to Australia. I lived on a Hare Krishna farm for 2 weeks. Hare Krishna, and slept with some Scandinavian women.
Oh, my goodness.
And from there, then I went back to door knocking the next year, but I'm like, I'm not going to live in the warehouse, and I'm not going to be a manager. I'm just going to show up and knock doors, and I'm going to compete nationally. And I came back the next year, I cleaned house.
Was that in Vancouver again?
Yeah, I went back to Vancouver. But so I go back to the same company. You're like, why would you go back to the same company? Because now I'm knocking. Now all I have to do is show up in the morning. I can pick the days I work. I don't have to work every day.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is show up at 8 o'clock in the morning with my backpack, my food for the day, and I'm going to compete. And I fucking killed it, dude. Like, I destroyed it. Like, I ended up making like $40-something thousand in 50 days.
Jesus.
I was making $700-800 a day every single day in cash. Just killing it. First place or second place. They called me captain second place because there's this one guy who kept beating me.
Who was it?
His name was Sean Kozak. He was a beast. But he'd been doing it for 7 years. It was my first year on the field.
Yeah.
So and I was beating. I was the number 2 in the country. So this companies, there was 2,000 people that worked across the country every day. Damn. I was number 2. So I'm like, all right, I'll take that. Yeah. I'll take that. Like, fucking, I'm the number 2 guy in the biggest door-to-door company in the country. Fuck yeah, I'll do that.
And then, in a competition.
In the competition, dude. Yeah, that was my athleticism, was verbal judo.
Exactly.
Every door is a new match.
It's so true. I love that.
But I'll tell you what, one thing nobody had me beat on, closing percentage. I destroyed. I would stay on like 2 streets. Like, I could make a neighborhood. I could make a route. It's usually 5 streets, 5 like neighborhoods. You know, it's like 300 homes. I could stay on 2 streets. Just close people, dude. Yeah. Like, just when I was slow, I was like, took my time.
Right.
Built good relationship. But I closed.
ABC.
So that was the beginning of my career, dude. You know,
yeah.
And then I started doing personal development and reading all these self-help books, and they're all like, you can have anything you want. You just got to visualize that. It's just true. But you need to work your ass off at the same time that you're visualizing it. You got to do both. You know, you got to keep your eye on like where you're going. So I started studying personal development, getting mentored by authors, and going to Tony Robbins and walking on fire with my bare feet. I started doing like energy work, like Reiki and acupuncture and like all sorts of energy work, and going to all these like voodoo seminars type, not voodoo, but like bioenergetic synchronization. I started doing a whole bunch of energy work to like get rid of some of the emotional issues that I had. Because dude, drugs mess you up emotionally. Anybody who doesn't agree with that is either messed up emotionally or just has never done drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, so that's kind of it. And then, I mean, from the warehouse, from cleaning up my drug habit and living in the shop to, that was 20. By 25, I was in the top 1% income earners in the country.
Jesus.
So I went from being
5 years.
Yeah, just less than 5 years. I was the youngest executive in a $1 billion company, and that's when I was the entrepreneur at that sales company that I built. And I was making like $250,000 or just under $250,000.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And
so
4 years. Almost.
4.5 years. Yeah. Top 1% in North America is $400,000, but top 1% in Canada is like $212,000. Canada's socialist, dude. Fuck it, dude. By the way, you guys, I listen to you guys all the time. Canada has free healthcare. Listen, all of your American friends who think that like this friggin' socialist idea of healthcare system is a good idea. I just nearly survived the most. I just went through like a nearly dying this year. My girlfriend had her appendix burst last year. Our healthcare system sucks. No discussion. It is unanimously agreed upon. It's not a consensus. It's unanimous. Everybody knows our healthcare system is a piece of shit.
And why is that? Like, what experiences?
Well, look at it, right?
You feel like that, yeah.
In the United States, you go to a hospital. It's privately run. You get good service. If you don't get good service, you can go on the internet and be like, this hospital's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go to the hospital down the street owned by somebody else. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you had to pay for insurance. Yeah, but I paid 43% income tax last year. 43%. Ooh. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
California's right there.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, exactly. You guys are headed in the wrong direction, dude. That's why everybody's going to Texas and Florida, right? And wherever else they have no state income tax, right? So, but you guys do that, but we also pay 13% sales tax on everything we buy. You guys pay 9%?
Yeah, we pay I think less than 9%.
Yeah, we pay we pay 13%. Okay, we pay a carbon tax to protect the little polar bears. By the way, you paying tax to your government doesn't fix the polar bears. All you're doing, you're being scammed. Like, it's a sale. Like, if people understood how manipulation and sales and persuasion and all this stuff works, they would look at their politicians and this whole like green movement. It's a sales pitch. It's called fear. You create a problem that the person doesn't know they're aware of. That's what you do when you sell. You knock on a door, be like, hey, John, how you doing today?
I'm good.
Dude, glad to hear you're doing good. Listen, John, I know you weren't expecting my call here, and you probably caught you in the middle of something, man, so I'll keep this quick, okay? So get my agreement early on.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, dude, and I got you, man. So listen, the reason I knocked on your door, I was just walking by your property here. I was heading to my next appointment, and I noticed, John, that your property is dealing with the same issues as all of your neighbors. So I figured I'd knock on your door. I had some time between now and my next appointment to squeeze you in. And I just noticed your lawn's winter burn just like your neighbors. So your neighbors have a group deal going on. And basically, they all pan together. I'm out here right now. We're doing a group rate. We're aerating the lawn. We do a crosshatch. And what that does is it opens up the root system of the lawn so that right now, I'm guessing you're going to start watering it soon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. But because it's winter burned, because of all the snow, the lawn's so compressed that none of the water can get into the roots. So rather than you spending a bunch of money on a bunch of fertilizer and de-weed and everything, we're going to aerate that lawn first to open up the root system. And listen, like I said, you're not on the list, but I can write you in the group deal. Okay, and I can squeeze you in before I head to my next appointment. All I got to do real quick, John, is just check your backyard, make sure it's about the same size as your neighbors, and then I can see what kind of price I can fit you in for. Sound good? Is it to the left or to the right?
You're slick,
Yeah,
man.
dude, I haven't done that pitch. I haven't done that pitch in 4 years. I haven't worked for that company for 4 years.
Yeah.
But here's the point. What did I do? I knocked on your door.
Mm-hmm.
I agreed to myself. Then I made you aware of a problem that you didn't know you had. Your lawn's winter burned. The soil's compressed. Anything you do to the lawn, fertilizer, water is not going to get into the roots.
Right.
When you turn on television and they're like, oh, there's a hurricane, it's global warming. And then it scares the shit out of it. It's fear-mongering. Dude, I'm all for, there's not a thing that I'm wearing right now that's made in China.
Yeah.
I'm all for the environment, dude. That's why I buy things made locally. Doesn't get shipped across the ocean. Isn't made in a country that violates more environmental laws and more human rights laws than any country on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
China, right? So I'm about not polluting. But, dude, are you trying to convince me that me paying another 4 or 5% of my money tax to the government, the most inefficient people with money on the planet, right? The most wasteful people, most corrupt people on the planet, I'm going to give them my money and they're going to fix the air? Just think about that, right?
Hot takes.
They're going to fix the air. What are they going to do? Yeah. Tell me about it. Oh, we're trying to deter the wrong behavior.
Well, isn't that so?
Just think about that.
No, I
So
you definitely have a very
you turn on the TV, see Leonardo DiCaprio. It's the polar bears are dying, all right, and he's just doing his job, doing what he believes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you turn on Bernie Sanders. Well, the environmental problems in this country are ridiculous, you know, and then you're like, I'm going to vote for that guy. He's going to fix the planet.
Yeah,
sure, tax me, take more of my money. That's what's going on. It's a sales pitch. They scare you and they offer a solution.
But isn't it kind of the idea that like so do you pay that tax regardless or only if you like? Cause I'm thinking vehicle wise. Like I don't see a reason.
Carbon tax is on everything, dog.
That's fun.
You should do some research, man. It's crazy, dude.
No, I'm not the most educated on this subject.
It's
sure.
brutal, dude.
But,
it's brutal. All I know is this: taxation is theft. Taxation is 100%
That's what our
dude.
forefathers agree with.
That's if you look at your country's
Founding
awesome.
fathers.
This is still a British Commonwealth.
Yeah.
I basically live in
our
Britain.
country's not ours. We're getting taxed out the ass still.
Well, you guys won for a while.
For a while.
You guys
We
had the Declaration of Independence, which is arguably the best document ever designed for any country on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best, right? But then you guys let the Federal Reserve Bank get started, and we're not going to get started with that whole thing.
No.
But
I'm on your.
You know,
camp
but you
there,
guys
though.
you guys let the bankers back in.
Yeah.
Basically, England took over again,
Yeah.
just through the banking system.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so
Man, you gotta write a book.
Enough of that stuff.
I would read the fuck out of that thing.
Yeah. So, but back to it, right? Like, if you look, everything we're talking about ties back into what I'm doing with my life. Is
Right.
what most people believe is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like my rule of success, like I dropped out of school, my number one rule is like, who do you get advice from?
Yeah.
You get advice from people who have what you want and have been where you are. That's how I cured myself of a chronic disease and literally walked off my deathbed this year. That's how how I joined the top 1% of income earners in the country with no college education. That's how I built a $4 million company, right? And I'm only in year 2. I think our goal this year is we know for a fact, especially if we negotiate this next contract correctly, which is going to be sick, I think we'll do anywhere between $7 and $10 million this year. But last year, in our second year of business, we did $4 million in sales.
Yeah, that's still really fucking good.
That's pretty decent for a bunch of freaking kids.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wait, what was that you said?
So the rule is
about the group think or like
a group think is this, right? Like most people are fucking idiots, but right? If you look at it, the majority of people don't have what they want. Just look.
No,
if Planet Earth was a sport, so pick a sport.
Drag racing.
Okay, drag racing. Let's talk about your audience will understand. We could do drag racing, but okay, basketball. If Planet Earth was a basketball game, most of these motherfuckers can't even dribble. Can't dribble, can't shoot a free throw. 76% of them paycheck to paycheck. 84% of them less than $1,000 net worth. But I thought money's not important. Yeah, until you go to Whole Foods. I want you, any friggin' idiot who's like, money's not important, go to Whole Foods, and when they charge you the $212 for the 2 bags, right? I want you to be like, money's not important, and try and grab your bags and walk away.
Right. Yeah.
See if they accept that cute little fucking quote, that little Instagram quote that you saw some broke yoga teacher post. Okay? Try and take that quote and pay your bills with it. Money's not important. It's an economic planet. Money's important. Yeah. Very important. So most people don't have money. Most people don't have health. Most of them are fat or out of shape.
Especially in the U.S.
Right? No, dude, Canada's full of lard asses, dude. Yeah, 100%. Maybe the Scandinavian countries. They got some pretty people, right? We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about why that system works in a second. But yeah, like if you look at it, most people can't play the game.
Right.
Most people are getting divorces. So they don't even know how to manage their relationships. Most people have lost faith. Like faith in their religion, faith in that like good will prevail. Like most people are on drugs. Yeah. You know what I mean? They can't even enjoy themselves on a social setting. You know what I mean? So right? So if you look at that, you give them an amazing vacation. Like you're on this beautiful boat, you're in the middle of the ocean. Let's get drunk.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I'm in the middle of the ocean. This is one of the wonders of the world, and we have to get drunk right now to enjoy it? Like, so that's the planet you live on. Is most people don't have what they want. Most people don't live their dream life. So therefore, they don't have a formula, or their formula is broken. Mm-hmm. And if you want to be a pro basketball player, you can't listen to all the broken House League players. House League can't teach House League how to make the major leagues. It just can't happen.
I agree.
He doesn't know how to play.
I love that.
Right? Yeah. So my rule for success and how I've lived is find the person. I look at my life like a business. I build a board of advisors. Mm-hmm. I have a board of advisors I have a health advisor, and it's not a doctor who prescribes drugs, who has no understanding of food. Okay, it's somebody who has been through something. Like so this year, like I said, I was like nearly died. I lost 65 pounds in 4 weeks. I lost 40% of my blood. All right, I had a whole bunch of ulcers in my large intestine. I literally shat blood for
What did you have again?
I got officially diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in the most severe form. Uh-huh. And yeah, like basically.
What exactly is that? Sorry,
it's basically when you have an inflamed large intestine and your intestinal tract is basically fucked. You can't digest any food, and then you get a bunch of ulcers. So you basically have a bunch of holes in your intestine. You start bleeding, and you can't break down food.
So is that genetic, or is it?
Oh, that's what the doctors like to tell you. But no, it's 100% food related. And it's funny because I'm in the hospital and I'm like bleeding out here. I lost 30 pounds at that point in a week, or 2 weeks. Ooh. Yeah, 2 weeks I had lost 30 pounds. So I was not even 10 days I was in the hospital. I went in at 150. I came out at 125. So 25 pounds.
Jesus. In 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks. So 10 days. So, and the doctor's like, we have no idea what causes this. And you'll live with it for the rest of your life. And you're going to have to take this drug for the rest of your life in order to keep this in remission.
Okay.
Or we're going to have to cut out your large intestine.
Question.
And that drug was a chemotherapy drug.
So you said, fuck that, I'm not doing that.
Well, the moment he said, we have no idea what causes this, is kind of like me going to a guy for a basketball coaching session and be like, we have no idea how to get the ball in the net. Okay, so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just nothing personal. Like, thank you for your honest answer. Yeah. Fuck off.
Because from my perspective, you've always preached like fuck doctor. Like doctors don't know shit. Like they don't know like
how you break your leg, they know how to fix it.
Right, but like how to like they
Disease?
don't know anything about nutrition. Like you've always preached that. And
you're
like fuck doctors pretty much. But then like. So I was always interested, like when this happened, I was like, oh, like he's in it now. Like,
yeah, dog. I got called out.
Yeah, he's got to put
God's up here. He's like, oh, okay, motherfucker, like, you believe in what you say. Let's see you do it.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, I got put to the test. And it's funny, it didn't even clue into me when I was in the hospital.
You really got
and I was misdiagnosed. That's actually what made the whole thing worse. Mm-hmm. I was misdiagnosed early, and I got put on a parasite cleanse, a bunch of natural antibiotics that basically ripped my colon to shreds.
Fuck.
I mean, that was a doctor in the U.S., you know, and that was a natural doctor. So now my head was really fucked. I'm like, go to the natural doctor. Because the good thing about medical doctors is they do testing. Mm-hmm. So my suggestion to anybody who's had medical issues is you go to a medical doctor to go get all your testing done. Mm-hmm. And then you take all those results and then you go to nutritionists, natural doctors, and you go and you figure out what caused it. And generally it's not just food. It's generally emotional.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. Because think about it, right? If somebody were to smash that window right now.
Yeah.
You would get a shot of cortisol. You'd be like, what the fuck? That's
yeah.
stress hormone.
Driving that Hellcat yesterday. I was
Yeah. Or you get the adrenaline.
Yeah.
So if we keep triggering your fight or flight, your immune system gets activated or suppressed, right? Your body flushes with cortisol, stress hormone. And you constantly do that all the time. You're making your body into a cancerous environment. You're going to get sick.
Right.
So, but nothing happened. Something scared you. So your mind literally changed the biochemistry of your body.
That's fucking heavy. Yeah.
So you just got to think about that, right?
Yeah.
So like I've been
Definitely.
like literally grinding, living in a warehouse at 20, doing door-to-door sales at 21, like competitive. That's high stress, dude.
Yeah,
I need that money, dude. I needed to win.
Right.
Super high stress. I did door-to-door sales or door-to-door turnaround. Then after I was a killer in door-to-door, then they turned me into an executive. I was the youngest executive in that company at 22, 23. And I would go in and turn around these locations. So I'm a 22-year-old kid, and I'm going into these locations, and they're like, fix this location.
Yeah.
So I'd fire some people, right? Like light a fire under everybody's ass. Like all the losers, just cut them, right? Bring in some new guys, give some speeches every single day, get people practicing and drilling, and turn the sales stats around. Then I would go to another location.
Right.
But again, I'm living in hotels. I'm eating restaurant food. I'm always on the go. I'm always abusing my body. I'm not sleeping enough.
Yeah.
And I'm experiencing a lot of stress. That was until I was 23. Then I did the corporate job and built this multi-million dollar, almost $20 million business in 3 years with Ledcore. Restaurant food, hotels, traveling all the time, stressed out, growing the business, right? And I'm 24, 25, and I'm the youngest executive in that business, and I got corporate guys messing with my head because there's so much politics
Yeah, 100%.
going on.
100%.
So all this added up. And then 26, 27, I quit the corporate world and I started my own business out of my condo. And we had 4 weeks of cash left by August. It started in April, and in August we had no cash left. I closed $300,000 in business that month. When my back's against the wall, and that's what I've been trying to work out my whole life now.
Yeah.
Is like, how do I produce without my back being against the wall? And that's what this sickness has taught me. The sickness is a blessing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking glad I got sick. So I did 2 years of building my own business. First year in my condo, first 3 months in my condo, first 4 months in my condo. Then we moved into a tiny little office with no windows, shitty air conditioning. And we did $2.5 million, $2.6 million in our first year of business.
That's crazy.
Then we bought this place.
This place
we
is
basically
fucking sick.
we leased this place, but we had to, because we had no business history. Like banks wouldn't give us any money. They wouldn't lease us the place. They wouldn't build it out for us until we gave them. So I had to give them $55,000
Cash?
Yeah, like a check. I asked my my partner. I'm like, "Is this check made of rubber? Is it gonna bounce?" He's like, "No, dude, we got the money."
Damn.
Yeah. So we moved, and we had this place built, and we moved into this place April 18th, 2018. So exact year, exact year from the day we started the business, we moved into this place.
This place is legit.
Yeah, we have to show some pictures. So we have a full training. We have a training space for 40 people, and we have right now there's about 10 employees in here. I'm about to hire 2 more tomorrow. But by the end of the summer, this place will be 7 plus 5. That's 12 plus 1, 2. It's 14, 15 plus another 4. So it'll be about 19 people in here. And then our Ontario business, we have about 45 salespeople.
Ooh, and that's door to door.
That's a door-to-door sale. So I started my own little door-to-door thing now, and I got this door-to-door arena going on out there.
Yeah.
So I did all this, but this was a really stressful job. Like I was being a self-employed person. So I had all my employees, but I always had to do everything. I had to be involved in every deal. I had to close as many deals as possible. Yeah. I had to be the guy going in training and giving the speeches. So I was running around from place to place, having to close the deals, having to be involved. And I literally, like, by November of 2018, I was fried.
Yeah.
I just done. I hated coming to work. And I'm the owner. I got a corner office. Now I got no boss, right? Like, people think, oh, I'd love to work for myself. Like, dude, until you can learn to love what you're doing anywhere, not do what you love. You need to learn how to enjoy what you're doing before you leave. Mm-hmm. Or else you haven't learned the lesson, right? Because, like, you're going to hate – if you hate working for someone else, you're going to hate working for yourself even more. Because then you're going to be not only a shitty employee, but you're going to be a shitty employer at the same time.
Right.
I've been that, right? I've been both. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, I'm a shitty boss and I'm a shitty employee, right? So by last winter, I was like done. And I was having really bad digestive issues. I was burping after every meal like a ton. I had like gas. I was weak. I had no appetite in the morning whatsoever. Like I'd wake up and I like have to force food into my gut. Like I couldn't eat. My cortisol levels were so high. It's like It's like you're always on a cup of coffee. Funny enough, I was drinking a ton of coffee on top of that. But I wake up in the morning and your cortisol levels everything's out of balance and you have no appetite. Mm-hmm. And when your cortisol levels are high, your body's not producing bile, so you're not there's no stomach acid production, so the food you do break down just goes into your intestines and ferments and causes inflammation. See, I learned all this. How come the fucking doctors didn't have this figured out? You know what I'm saying? Because they're brainwashed, dude. They go to universities that are funded by pharmaceutical companies.
And you hate pharmaceutical companies.
Well, dude, of course I do. They're the modern day parasites of our planet, right? So one of them. There's a few. Bankers are another one, right? So anyway, I hope this isn't too real. Hopefully your audience isn't liberal as shit, and they're like, I don't like he's not politically correct, right?
No, like, this is why I started.
Your California followers. I don't know if they're gonna like this, right? And I'm a Canadian, by the way, so I'm supposed to be liberal as shit, but. But yeah, so then I take off a month. So just think about it. I have this crazy 7-year stretch.
You didn't know what was going on, right?
I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was fine. I wasn't bleeding or anything at this point. I go down to Clearwater, Florida. I'm hanging out, staying on the resort. I'm working out every day. I'm getting jacked as shit. Show them the video. Show them the video. So I'm working out every day. I'm 175 pounds. Like I literally put on like 15 pounds in like 5 or 6 weeks. So it's the end of this.
That can't be healthy either, though.
No. Think about it, right? What are you doing? You're stressing the digestive system all over again. Yeah. Taking supplements, like all clean supplements, but I'm taking supplements. Yeah, for sure. And I started getting like diarrhea, and then I started getting blood in the diarrhea. I'm like, we thought I had E. coli because there's a bunch of recalls on like lettuce and green onions and shit. You know, like whenever there's like an E. coli scare, they all the grocery stores like take their lettuce away.
Yeah, I remember Chipotle had that.
Yeah, right. And so I'm like, oh, I know. And I'm thinking I'm so smart. This is where my arrogance comes in. Like, I know natural health. No, I'm a fucking idiot. What I should have done was go to a medical doctor, done a bunch of tests, found out exactly what it was, and then started to treat that. But instead I went and we tried to treat it as E. coli. So I started taking a super high dose of vitamin C. That's ascorbic acid. That's the worst thing you can take for your colon. Okay? So I'm like making these terrible mistakes, and like, so I take a super high dose of vitamin C and oil of oregano, also very hard on the colon. Okay? So do that, bleeding gets worse. Diarrhea gets worse. Now I'm shitting blood I'm going to the bathroom like 7-8 times a day, all like blood. Okay?
That's scary.
Go to another doctor. Scary. He's like, oh, you've got a parasite. Natural doctor. This is.
Yeah.
I go to a medical doctor at this point too, and I do a bunch of stool samples. Mm-hmm. And I go to another doctor, and then he's like, you have a parasite. Before I got my stool samples back, stool sample will tell you if you have a parasite. And he's like, oh, you have a parasite. We'll put you on a parasite cleanse. Worst thing to do when you have inflammation of the colon, colitis. Mm-hmm. Okay? Take the parasite cleanse. Worst pain of my entire life.
Jesus.
I can't sleep. I'm literally going to the bathroom 20-25 times a day now. Every hour.
20-25 times a day?
Yeah, bowel movements. Blood. I'm like, I need to get out of the U.S. now. I've already spent thousands of dollars seeing all these doctors in the U.S.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny because my insurance, travel insurance, people are like, see, don't you miss your like single payer system? No, because when I came here, I paid for something and I got served right away. No waiting, no nonsense.
So you'd rather have that?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Yeah. But the insurance, the travel insurance I bought, I should have done my research there because I have full responsibility. I didn't do my research, and like there's a deductible every visit. So I should have bought a different insurance package. So every time I went to the doctor, there's a deductible. Cool. So it's bullshit. So anyway, I hop on an airplane, I fly home, and I fly to Toronto. I didn't even make it to Vancouver. And I go to the hospital in Toronto, and then there I am bleeding out in the hospital. And the doctor's like, we have no idea what causes this. I'm like, I can tell you what caused it. Like I was in Florida and, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, there's no guarantee that caused it. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, got it. And at this point, I'm like, just give me some steroids. So they put me on steroid dose because that suppresses inflammation, right? Okay. And it keeps the immune system from being overactive. So I'm on steroids, and day 4, day 5, steroids aren't doing. They brought me down. So your blood has inflammation markers in it. So if I take your blood right now, there's a marker that I can check for, a reactive protein that's present in the blood, and that will tell you how much inflammation's in the body.
Got it.
And the healthy range for that is between 0 points and 4 points. Mine was at 82 points.
Holy
so the maximum healthier range. So if you're at 5 points, you've got inflammation in the body. They should investigate. Right? I was at 82. So you're headed for death.
Yeah.
At that point. So we threw me on steroids. The steroids brought it from 80 down to 50. But and then it didn't. And then it wouldn't go any lower than that. And they're like, oh, we want to put you on this immune-suppressing drug called Remicade, and it's basically chemotherapy. It's a low dose of chemotherapy.
Wow.
And I'm like, and I'm sitting in this hospital bed, and I'm like, I'm 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, or we want to cut out your colon, and you basically have a bag on the side of your body. I'm like, fuck that too.
So did you not question? You're like, okay, like this guy has all this experience. Maybe I should.
No,
Maybe I should listen to him, like, since it's like that real.
Yeah.
Or was it just like, nah, fuck that? Like,
no, because I know where he got educated. So I already went into this with my mindset of like, I know that these guys get educated. Like, for example, University of Guelph, that's in Ontario. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a wing of that university called the Monsanto wing. You know, like a wing, like a wing of a building.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's called the Monsanto wing, Johnny.
Yeah. No, I could do that.
So the people educating our dumbass kids who... Right? High school makes people really dumb. And then university fills their brain up with a jelly donut full of a bunch of ideas that don't really work. Okay? For some things. Okay? So, like business. Okay? The only thing a business grad knows how to do is make a fucking cappuccino. Okay?
I mean,
he knows how to use Excel. Great. I'll hire him. He can build my spreadsheets. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second. I want you to hold your trepidation on my points there, and then we'll have a discussion. We'll have a little debate. Okay? I want you to be devil's advocate, Johnny.
Okay.
Okay? Don't just let me fucking... I've been on a tangent for too long anyway. So, so anyway, there's a wing in this school called Monsanto Wing. So this is a university.
Which is a big pharmaceutical company.
Which is a big fucking chemical company, dude.
Company
they're the ones that produce all the seeds.
Right.
They just got bought by Bayer.
They're just as bad.
Bayer is a drug company. Yeah. They make all the friggin' blood pressure. I make all the medications, dude. They make psychiatric medication that people kill themselves on, like all the bad shit.
Yeah.
But so I know what this doctor. I'm sitting in this hospital bed, and I know that this doctor's gotten educated by a broken system. And the moment he's like, "Yeah, we don't know what caused this. You're gonna live with this for the rest of your life. Food has nothing to do with it." I'm like, dude,
that's what set you off.
It's my digestive system.
That's what set you off.
And he's like, oh, like you're not eating while I'm in the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm not eating.
Yeah.
He's like, well, why not? I'm like, look at the food you're bringing. You know, I wasn't that antagonistic. I'm a sales guy first, so I'm still really rather pleasant to everybody. Right. I'm not like this candid with a doctor who because I need to make my own experience good, so I'm not gonna piss this doctor off.
Right.
I'm like,
exactly.
So I'm listening to him, and in the back of my head, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, dude, of course. Oh, of course, doctor. Yeah. I understand that. Yeah, food has nothing to do with it. Got it. Oh, so you think? Yeah, okay, good. In my head, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. So I had my girlfriend bringing me vegetable juicing kale and celery, and shout out to my girl for keeping me alive in the hospital. Yeah. So at least I'm getting my nutrients, for like keeping the organs going. So I'm in the hospital now, and then day 5, my CRP reactive protein, the inflammation markers aren't going down any further. Mm-hmm. And then I was trying to run to the bathroom, and I had this IV on me, and I'm like, and it's caught in the curtain, and I didn't even get to the toilet, and I fucking shit blood down the back of my legs.
Jesus.
And I was in the bathroom, luckily, and I was like, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
That's when my mind was rock solid through the sickness in Florida. Uh-huh. It was rock solid for the first 5 days of the hospital. Like I was a champion. I was like super positive. I think I was a little bit not even there. Like I was like looking around like, man, hospitals are fucked.
Yeah.
I'm in the hospital, right? I'm like, this guy's fucked. I'm like, that guy's fucked. Meanwhile, I'm in the hospital. Like, and it's not even cluing in. They're like, I'm in this fucking hospital.
Yeah.
Right, and shitting a bunch of blood down your legs.
That's fucking scary, man.
And then I was just like, I'm fucked. I'm like this is serious.
Yeah.
I waited 4 more days. I was getting IV steroid therapy and drinking the juice, and then I realized because hospitals are interbulating environments.
What does that mean?
Interbulating is like you disrupt something. Like this water, if we go like this, is interbulated.
Got it.
Right? You know what I mean?
So they disrupt.
So think about it, right? What do you hear in a hospital? Beep, beep.
Yeah.
Code blue.
Yeah.
Beep, beep. Yeah. Nurse to room 7. Nurse to room 7.
Yeah, that's
right?
not good for your
and then
mind.
you hear like, oh. Ooh.
Yeah, no, it's super
And hey,
creepy.
did you take your needles today? Hello, Mr. Johnson. Good morning. Right, like the nurse talking to the old fuck next
Yeah.
to me.
Uh-huh.
Right, like, and he's like, all right, you gotta eat your apple juice, and they're feeding, and I'm listening to all this, like, dude, that's poison, dude. You're feeding
Yeah.
him like Welch's apple juice, which is like full of sugar.
Do they actually feed?
Dude, they
give
feed
them
people. They're
Welch's and-
people feeding people those little fruit cups. Those little fruit cups, you know, when you were a little kid in the school playground, the fruit cups with like the peaches, and they're like loaded with
shit.
syrup
Yeah,
and shit. Yeah, and they're bringing
They
people
give
like
those in
they're bringing
hospitals?
people like Kellogg's cereal. It's like, dude, I'm in the ward of digestive
should be, like,
issues.
all
So
juice.
anybody with Crohn's, colitis, diabetes was in this wing.
Yeah.
And they're bringing people cornflakes.
That's absurd.
Like, dude, that's
Like the hardest
they're
thing to
bringing
digest.
people bread and muffins. Like they're giving them gluten, which
Yeah.
is like loaded with glyphosate, which fucking inflames the large intestine. Like even if you're not, even if you don't have even if you're not celiac, if you have inflammation of the colon, large or small intestine, and you're eating gluten or dairy, you're a fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm in this environment and I'm like listening to these people be fed with like garbage, and I'm aware of it because
Yeah.
being aware is a whole other level. Like one thing to be ignorant,
Right.
it's another thing to know, and then to see, and then you're just hearing the beep beep. So I put in music, and then I'm watching positive, funny shit. I went through the whole series of Home Improvement. You remember that show?
Was that the
Tim
one
Allen?
where they move that bus? Is that what I'm thinking?
No.
What's
Home
that?
Improvement is like, yeah, maybe it's a show from the East. You Californians, it took place in Michigan, so it's like about a blue collar family. The guy's name's Tim Allen.
I know Tim Allen.
Yeah. He was in the
Okay,
show.
so you're
yeah.
watching that show.
Yeah, I was watching that show. It's funny. It's light.
Yeah.
And day 9 comes around, and I'm like, I'm not getting any better in here. I need to get to my environment. I need to get to an environment where it's peaceful,
Mhm.
and I can have my girl bring me juice every hour rather than like having to leave the hospital and, you know.
That's
so I'm like,
such a-
I'm gonna leave. Like I'm gonna,
That's so bold, dude.
I'm gonna leave.
like the fact that you just did that. Like,
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're really putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm like, these guys can't help me. And funny enough, I had this woman reach out to me. Her name's Sabine, and she's my client, one of my clients' wife, and she had been through the same situation,
Mm-hmm.
but
did the
worse, And then she was on her deathbed, and like she had this for 7 years, and in the last year of her being sick, she was getting a blood infusion every month. That's how much blood she was losing. So they told her to get her affairs in order. She weighed 80 pounds. Okay. Or
I told her to get her affairs in order.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And she cured herself naturally. She's like, fuck this. You guys don't know what. She tried the medical system.
Mhm.
She tried the steroids and all that stuff. It didn't work. So she cured herself of this disease. And she's completely in remission. She eats spicy food now and all that, right?
Yeah.
Like she doesn't eat animals. And she says like some of the people that she's coached go back to eating some chicken, fish, and meat, which is fine, which
Yeah.
I will do, but probably not for the next year.
Chicken wings.
Right, I got to eat a couple organic chicken wings, dog. Oh my god, I'll kill the chicken myself. Like I will literally walk up and slice his head off with a cleaver. Right, uppercut him first. You know.
Oh my god.
Same thing with the cow, dog. I'll headlock the cow, choke him out. He'll
bulldog
die.
choke.
He'll die a nice death.
Oh
You know.
my gosh.
Take my knife out, carve a nice ribeye out of the side of him. You know. So, right. But anyway,
Sick.
so I find this woman who is. What's my rule for success? Find someone who has been where you are
Mhm.
and is now where you want to be.
Who do you listen to? Yeah.
Who do you listen to? She's like, I can coach you through this. I'm like, all right, I'm leaving
Done.
I'm
Yeah.
leaving this hospital. So I leave the hospital. I have to sign a bunch of paperwork that says you are leaving against medical recommendations. And this doctor's like, yeah, like it's not hopeful. It's not hopeful, dude. Like if anything, if it gets, that's what he said. He's like, it's not hopeful. Like Corey, like I can't stress enough. You need to take Remicade. You need to take this chemotherapy drug. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Thanks, buddy. You're out of shape, dude.
That's crazy.
So I leave. I go to my parents' house. Not the environment to be in either, because
Yeah.
you got this kid who went to the hospital, came back to the hospital 30 pounds lighter. So your parents are just emotional.
How light were you when
I
you
came back to at 130. So when I was in Florida, I was 175.
175.
I lost 10 pounds pretty much immediately.
Mhm.
Like all your water weight.
We'll show
all
these
your
pictures too.
Right?
That
Show those
picture.
pictures. Show them again. Show the video
Like-
again. Yeah. Right. That's what I used to look like. And 100, yeah. So I was 175 in Florida, went down to 165.
Uh-huh.
Came home, tried not going to the hospital for a couple days. That was not a good idea. Ended up in the hospital by December 28th. Get out of the hospital January, I don't know what it was, 5th or 6th. Okay. 6th. maybe. And now I'm 130. So my parents are looking and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So they're like,
you don't want to see your
they're
kid
emotional
like that.
wrecks, and it's coming out in its own emotional forms. Like people, you know, sometimes there's like the household's got antagonism because people have come down the emotional tone scale. They're exposed to stress, right?
Yeah.
Phone's ringing. My Apple Watch.
You probably got it.
Hey, baby, I'm gonna call you back.
Okay, are we still playing downtown?
Yeah, I'm just filming this podcast. I'll give you a few minutes. Sorry. So anyway, so I get out of this thing. I got to at least tell them how I healed myself.
Yeah.
And then we can finish it
for
from
sure.
there, and we can do another one of these.
We'd have to.
Yeah.
It's flown
Because
by.
we haven't talked about what happens after, but
Yeah.
so I check myself out of the hospital. I go to my parents' house. There's just a lot of emotional and turbulence going on because like your loved one, your son, is basically looks like he's dying.
Yeah.
It's
Like
just
that would fuck any parent up.
Yeah, and what do I need to be in? See, because the other aspect to the healing process is
Emotional.
emotions. Because you need to have a good biochemical state going on inside of your body. And if you're stressed and if you're sad and you're surrounded by people who don't have the faith truly that you can handle it, then they're not really contributing to that environment. And that's not their fault. That's just they got so much emotion going on that so I'm like, I need to leave my parents' house.
Yeah.
I need to come home. So now I have to go from Toronto to Vancouver.
Which is like a 5-6 hour flight?
Yeah, it's a
like
5-hour flight.
LA to
5-hour flight, yeah. And altitude makes internal bleeding worse. But I'm gonna do this anyway. So I hop on an airplane. You know, we got a bunch of doctor's notes so that I could bring juice on the airplane, like all my vegetable juice, and I buy a first class ticket, right? And we get on the airplane, and then as soon as we get, I'm like, I'm fine, I'm good, like stable, like
Were you
you know.
scared
I got
getting
a
on
little
there?
note that said I could go to the bathroom whenever I wanted, like a little note from the airline that says if this guy needs to go to the toilet, because I had just like shitting fucking 20 times a day, right? If he needs to go to the toilet, even if there's a seatbelt thing on, he can go. But as soon as I'm like, oh, things are all right. Like, yeah, like I just need to keep my bowel in control. If I need to go to the bathroom, I'll be fine. Like it's 5 hours. Like I have a bed. Like the first class has a bed, right? And we go up into the air, and as soon as we hit about 8,000, 10,000 feet, I start experiencing like ridiculous pain in my intestines.
Because it's
my gut.
inflaming, right?
Right. Well, it's because you start bleeding because you basically think about it, right? Take a water bottle up into the air, and it goes like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that's what my body's doing.
Oh,
right. That's what's going on. Right. And then when you come down, it expands again.
That must have
So you have ulcers that are going like this.
Yeah.
And I start fucking freaking out. Like I'm just like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Right. So I press the little button. Right. And I just got emotional. I haven't looked at this situation. I haven't talked about this situation. This part of the story. And the what's her name? The flight attendant comes over. I'm like, you need to go get my brother. So she goes back to economy class, gets my brother. My brother comes up. He's like, what's up? I'm like, I don't know, dog. You know. Oh, sorry. Just getting emotional talking about this. Oh, fuck. Sorry. And then so they're like, yo, get him some oxygen. Like we're in the air now, right? We're like 20,000, 30,000 feet. And so they bring in the oxygen over, and they put me on the oxygen. Thank God, like the oxygen, like calmed everything down, and I was just on oxygen for the rest of the flight. And then they got me off the fuck. Sorry, dude. It's like I haven't told this part. I haven't told this part of the story for a while. I haven't looked at it for a while. Then they got me off the airplane with paramedics, and the next day, my brother took me to the hospital. I got an IV because I was like super dehydrated because you're just shitting everything out, right? So, they put me in the hospital. Yeah. And then I'm like, I called my brother because like the paramedics came to my house because the paramedics took me off the airplane. And they're like, we recommend that you go to the hospital. I'm like, fuck that. Yeah. Right? I'm not going to the fucking hospital. They can't help me, take me home. So my brother, they didn't take me in a paramedic vehicle. They didn't take me in the ambulance. My brother put me in the car. They drove me home. I got home the next day. I'm so weak. I can barely get out of bed. They called the paramedics, took me to the hospital. And I get to the hospital. I'm not there 20 minutes. My brother hasn't even got to the hospital yet. I texted him. I'm like, get me the fuck out of this hospital. So I got the IV. I let them run a full IV of like fluids into me. And I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. Yeah. So I fucking unplug. I'm like, I'm out. So I leave the hospital. I come back to my house. And then we just started doing juice therapy. So I had my friends who are nurses. Shout out to Jess and Craig. Like bringing over bags of IVs. We are hanging these IVs from lamps. And then like running the IV into my arm. And you're like, man, this is asinine. Yeah, well, dude, like I need to be in a good environment. I can't be surrounded by people dying. Yeah. If I need to get my head right. I need to get my fucking mental game right,
Right,
dude. I need to see
100%.
the success. I can't be surrounded by failure.
Yeah.
And hospitals are sick factories, dude, right? And healing is a mental game. It is a mental game first. That's what happens first. So I'm at home. I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch light films. So I'm like watching Ice Age and Toy Story and fucking Monsters, Inc. and like all this
Great
light.
films.
I'm watching
Yeah.
light shit, you know, and I'm getting an IV, and then I'm drinking cabbage juice because that's full of glutamine, and it also produces sulfur, some kind of sulfur product that kills ulcer-causing bacteria in the large intestine. Funny how we know this stuff. And juice therapy, and I'm following this woman's advice. This is what you could eat until the bleeding stops. Juice, cabbage juice, kale, a little bit of apple, carrot, juice, only juice, no fiber, because think about it, you can't eat the fiber because the fiber will scratch up your intestines. So if you're putting food through your intestines are going to bleed more as you're going to rub the wound with food, right? And then you can have pureed sweet potatoes, which is like baby food, fucking disgusting, right? And then pureed pear, I could have that. And then I don't know what else. Oh, broth, vegetable broth. And I basically did that,
That's it.
and then I started having fermented pickles because I needed to start having fermented foods, which is like amazing. It was like
you can eat
salt,
So
you know, like. And then 3-4 weeks, you know, we had the inflammation markers down to like 10.
Wow.
Yeah. In 1 week, I got my inflammation from 28 to 8.
Jesus. So that really cured
So I
it.
got in 50, went from 50. The next week was like 40. The next week was like 38, like barely went down, which was discouraging. Then I went down to 28. Then I went down to 8. Then I got it down to 4. And then your bowel movements start becoming less and less. But when you have that high of inflammation, your body doesn't absorb food. So this whole time I'm getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. And then I was down to 110 pounds.
Ooh.
And I'm 5'11".
And those pictures that
So, and I have we had to put padded toilet seats because the toilet seats, they were like, I had no legs. I had no glutes. I had no butt crack. Your butt crack's actually made up by your glutes, right? Like your butthole is underneath you technically. So if you looked at the back of me, there was no butt crack. It was just legs that met back. There was no leg. It was like, I looked like a Holocaust. I'll show the pictures.
Those are some of the gnarliest pictures I've ever seen,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
He sent me those. I was like, holy fuck. Because you weren't like publicizing.
Nothing.
Like you
we
weren't.
shut down my Instagram.
Yeah,
We shut down my Facebook. We sent out notes like stop messaging because people started hearing through the grapevine that I was sick.
Yeah.
And I've trained thousands of salespeople.
Yeah.
So there are literally thousands of salespeople that have my email, that have my phone number.
Right.
Like literally, I have like 1,500 people in my cell phone. You know. And that's my phone after I left the corporate world. So there's all these people that like know me. So they all start reaching out. Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
And I just like, I can't handle this. So we shut down my social media.
I was one of those. But.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
And after a few weeks, we got the bleeding stopped. We got the inflammation down. Then the bowel movements turned back to normal. Then I started reintroducing new foods. And then I made a goal. And that's the thing, too. When I was really sick, I stopped creating my future. So, like, I stopped mentally picturing the future. All I was trying to do was day by day. Yeah. And then I started doing mental training exercises. So I had somebody coming over to my house from my church, and they were doing energy work on me. They were doing mental training exercises with me every day for 2 hours a day. We're doing mental training exercises. We're doing energetic alignment exercises. We're doing nervous system revitalization exercises. We're doing all these exercises to keep me in present time and keep me from getting sucked into the mind. Because you start going senile, right? You start going senile. You're not in present time. You're just thinking about all these bad scenarios, right? So we started doing that, and then I made a goal that I was going to go to Miami for this boot camp, and I missed GrowthCon. So if anybody, check out hashtag Grant Cardone, follow Grant Cardone, hashtag 10X rule, okay? Grant Cardone called me twice. That guy's legit, dude. Him and his wife both FaceTimed me about 15 minutes twice. They called me to see how I was doing.
Check on you.
And Grant called me right before GrowthCon. He's like, yo, man, we were going to have you on stage at GrowthCon to talk about your success. Maybe you can make a video for us and send it. We can show it at GrowthCon, which I couldn't even do. Like I was so weak, right? But yeah, he called me. I missed GrowthCon, so I'm like, I'm not going to miss the training camp. There is a training camp at the end of March, and this is the beginning of February. I'm 110 pounds. By the end of March, I was 150, and I was cleared medically to fly.
That's insane, man.
Yeah. So fuck the medical system. Like, thank you for saving me, getting me on the steroids. Like, the steroids, like, and that's the thing. Like, you need to use the medical system if you're about to die to keep you alive. But they're not going to get you back to health. They can keep you alive, which is great. with what they need, the IVs and stuff. But like if you have no understanding of what caused the diagnosis, you can't give me a prognosis. A prognosis is like a prediction of what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
And they're like, you're going to live with this forever. Like you're not, like blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, you can't give me a prognosis because you don't know anything about the disease.
Right.
And like, well, what do you mean? He went to school for it. Good data for the camera and for your following is this. The measure of data, its quality, is the measure of the result it creates. So the quality of the coaching isn't how good it sounds. It's not, okay, Johnny went to USC, therefore he's the best basketball player. Therefore his coaching is the best.
Yeah.
Is, can Johnny's coaching get me to make a free throw? If it can, his coaching is good.
Right.
If his coaching doesn't result in a basket, it is shitty advice. Period.
I mean,
this is straight up.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If your coaching, just for anything, if your coaching doesn't create, if I'm a money coach and I can't take you, and then after a year, and I hate the word coach, but let's just say I was a guy who was going to coach you on how to make more money.
Yeah.
If after a year you're not making more money,
Then you're
the
probably a
coaching,
better
there's
coach.
probably something wrong with the data, or you're not applying the data, one of the two.
Right.
That's the measure of knowledge.
Yeah,
the
no.
measure of knowledge is, does it create a result? If it doesn't create a result, it's bad knowledge. And that's why our society's all messed up. Everyone's listening to the wrong people. They're going to universities and listening to professors that have never really done anything most of the time.
Right.
I mean, there's some good professors
But
out
really
there. Don't get
quick,
me wrong.
one thing
Yeah.
about universities.
Yeah.
I met so many people.
Perfect.
Just through going through.
Perfect.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah, because that's why you should go to school.
Like I met just networking, like
Yeah.
through the people I met, and like
Yeah.
I haven't really, hasn't really, I wouldn't say it's paid off right now, but
Sure it
you
has.
never, like down the road, like dude, I've met so many
no,
cool
that's
fucking
the
people
point,
and people
right?
who are connected, and
But
like,
that's networking.
right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why you should go to school.
Yeah, that's
You shouldn't go to school because you think they're going to teach you how to be successful.
no, I kind of knew that,
But that's what school should be.
I agree. 100%.
That's what my business does, by the
100%.
way. We'll have to talk about it next time.
Yeah, definitely. What's
Yeah,
up? Hey,
yeah,
next time you're in LA.
So yeah, follow my
Man.
business, YESA, YESA, Young Entrepreneurs Sales Academy.
YESA.
YESA, YESA, Yes Academy. We teach you how to get to yes.
You guys have an Instagram, or is it just Grant
I think
Cardone
it's about to roll out. I just hired a firm.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
yeah, we did $4 million with no website and no online marketing. Everything from a cold call.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's
Anybody who says like, oh, you need to learn internet marketing to be successful these days. No, you don't. I built a $4 million business
You need to learn
with,
sales, right?
with no marketing dollars spent. Zero.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, dog.
Man, well,
Yeah.
thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man, we should do another one.
Hey,
I'll come
we
down
have
there.
to.
I'll come down
come down
to
to the studio, Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna say
where
El
the studio's
Segundo,
at.
Manhattan Beach.
Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
We'll get one in, for
Dude,
sure.
I'll
But
be
man,
ready. I'll be ready for chicken wings by then.
Please,
Yeah.
he makes the best chicken wings.
I do.
We need to get him.
We can maybe make some we can make some like some buffalo tofu.
fuck that. All right, man. Glad you're okay.
Hashtag vegan right now, but only for now.
Oh my god, you're crazy.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on,
Dude, cheers,
Corey.
man.
Oh, let's go. This is fun. I
Thanks
love
for
you,
having
man.
me, dude.
Of
I'm loving
course.
it, dude. I know that was a tangent. Next time we'll have a little
No, I love it. That's what,
little bit more
that's
back and
why we
forth.
do it, man.
All right, man.
I love you.